Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day, wonderful weekend. Let's take a look here at SUI, see what's going on. Support level at 450 did not hold, blasted straight through that. Actually, a second attempt. If you kind of zoom in here a little bit, you can kind of see that we did test that level once, and then the second time it came through. So again, the whole point of me mentioning this is just kind of giving you a perspective that support levels hold until they don't, and once they break, you can presume they'll be the new resistance. I wouldn't say by any stretch you should consider shorting this coin. It is pretty well overextended and likely to recover quickly. But this being a weekend, Bitcoin's kind of being a bit of a bug, but it's also in a bullish rectangle in the macro, so still looking pretty solid. I really think we're going to see a pretty swift recovery here from SUI. Likely soon. So we're going to try to identify some support and resistance levels here today. Just pull up some liquidation events and kind of see what's going on there. So thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. Really appreciate you. Thanks always for hitting that like button, commenting below too. It really does help grow the channel and gets us in front of more people. So the Moon Boys stop getting so many views. Again, I have nothing against them. They're just blabbering idiots. They don't really know what they're doing. But regardless of that fact, let's take a quick look at the last 7 days of liquidation for SUI. We can see again heavy concentration at 490 to roughly about 520. We've been doing that for a few days now, and we did effectively double top out, or essentially just swept that upper level liquidation, pulled back here. It's kind of standard trading, if you will. A lot of times when coins are overextended like this, being so so high for so long, these you're gonna start seeing these cascades, if you will, of take profit. It's very, very common. But again, once the bottom is in, it's going to probably continue to move very fast and sweep that $5 mark. So just be ready for that. But at this point here, liquidation delta having shifted mostly bearish leads me to believe that we're soon to find our bottom. Again, this is a very common occurrence when you hit this manipulation type of wave, and then the price action recovers almost instantly and just destroys any late shorts. SUI has been champion at that. It's done it multiple times over. I'll show you on the charts what I mean by that and how to identify it. But this does look like a power of 3 type of move. So again, be very careful shorting SUI right now. Having said that, let's see here. 465 roughly is the heaviest concentration of volume where folks are adding to their position the most, at least in this local range here since we've been in that. And we can kind of see 443, that low 450 mark. Those are two other areas of interest for folks. Okay, so now that we understand kind of the back end data there and recognize we've got some selling pressure being applied right now, we take a look at the daily time frame, we can recognize we're still very bullish. It's like there's no other way around it. Okay, so the funny thing is some people will misinterpret and be like, okay, we're bullish, I'm just going to take a long. Well, when you look at bullish on the daily time frame, that can change a lot. Like we could literally see the price pull back to 390 and still be considered bullish, right? So please understand there's a lot of range of motion right now, and it's important not to just blindly take longs. But on the same accord, dollar cost averaging is probably the best strategy in situations like this, specifically more so spot bags. You don't DCA into leveraged long positions. That's just foolhardy. And by the way, folks, use isolated margin. Don't use cross leverage. It can really destroy your account quickly. I've had some folks lose their portfolio instantly, and which actually happened on Monday, as a matter of fact, when we saw that 25% correction for most altcoins. Anyways, daily time frame here, even though we're under 70 on the RSI, it's still positive. Money flow index is above it. Stochastic swinging up. These are generally favorable signs I look for. Again, all I'm looking for here is just identifying, okay, cool, we're still in uptrend. We haven't broken any type of like bullish convergences, right? So take that with a grain of salt. It does not mean the price cannot still continue lower. It just implies that the likelihood of further upside in the relative near future is still high, okay? Between now and then, what do we look for? Well, we look at these support levels, and previously we've noted 425 and 450 as those previous closures. I believe 425 was a daily candlestick closure that was important, and then this is more so a 4-hour at 450. So those are just some tentative support levels here for us. We look here, we're losing 50 on the RSI. Generally not positive when SUI does lose 50 on the RSI. It spends about a day or two underneath that level. It doesn't spend too long in a bearish type of scenario. So I'd be willing to bet that this is either a fake out, which seems more practical, or B, just a tentative dip that should likely progress higher in the relative near future. Take a look here at MACD though. This is telling us that we're shifting momentum. This is a very common occurrence when price action pulls back like it has, and it's nothing to read into. I know it sounds crazy, but the MACD can be very helpful in a lot of ways to give you an identification of a shift in momentum, but It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that on the charts, right? You can tell that we've lost this little support range. So again, do you short into that? Probably not, just based on this coin being so strong. But typically, you would wait for a bearish backtest and then essentially consider shorting at that level. However, this is where the power of 3 comes in. And let me just go ahead and show you how this works. Generally speaking, power of 3 is gonna start with a kind of an accumulation phase. Okay. Second, it's going to have a manipulation phase where most people taking these longs are going to shift to short positions. And then, of course, out of nowhere, it shoots straight up to blast through its local high, and that is the expansive wave. So you just kind of have this power of 3, 1, 2, and 3. It's a lot easier to describe. I have it posted in my education section under our Discord, but you can kind of see quickly to note, you accumulate, they manipulate, and then they just expand and just destroy a lot of late longs, or late shorts in this case. So I just don't recommend shorting in this scenario, mostly because SUI is SUI, not necessarily because it's best practice to wait for a bearish backtest. Okay. Hourly time frame, Ichimoku cloud. This is confirming too we're in bear town as well. We've finally lost our cloud position here, and keep in mind, last time we lost our cloud here, just to give you perspective on how this coin does have a certain flow, we can see that we lost the cloud, and roughly from top to bottom, we saw about a 21% correction. So I'm not proposing we're going to see a 21% correction here, but hypothetically we do a bearish backtest of this 450 range. That could put us in that low 360 to retest that support. Okay. Strictly hypothetical, just throwing it out there. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. That was a pretty aggressive sell-off on Monday, right? I don't think we should have seen that kind of correction. So the truth is, when you drop below the cloud, it is common practice to see the price action continue lower until it breaks back up above. Okay, so I'm not going to be, considering a bullish type of move on this coin until we're probably back up over 450. It just makes more sense, right? Anyways, that's kind of where we're at there. The overall sentiment is not fantastic. Macro's bullish. The smaller time frame isn't. That's really all there is to it. But most altcoins are bleeding out right now, folks. There's no other way around it. Even all the strongest coins, like Chainlink, for example, Chainlink's been super strong lately too. It's starting to pull back as well, and we're just seeing this general weakness, or this malaise on altcoins, and it's not favorable. I think that dynamic is shifting though. Most altcoins are overextended. They are hitting 9s on TD sequential. So the hourly time frame is reflecting that we should see a bit of a bounce here soon. But as you can see, SUI hasn't looked back yet. It's pretty aggressively selling off more than other altcoins too right now, which is slightly concerning. So anyways, that's where we're at there, folks. Hope that makes sense. Good consideration for a long if we see it. 425. That's been a previous resistance / support level. So I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord and get you some updated information, so to speak. But it does look like we didn't continue in our bullish rectangle, and we instead double topped out and continued lower. Okay. All right, folks. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.